Before we go into our modeling stage, I just wanted to point out as a little fill-in a small detail that we want to fix up in our CAD plan and then just update in this section here. If you zoom into the heights here, you'll see that you only have the floor numbers. And if you go into the CAD plan, you'll notice that we had the actual heights written down. Now, if you think back to the CAD section of this tutorial, remember that we had to explode all of our text for us to be able to view it in Max. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to AutoCAD now, and I'm just going to open up that file. And we'll have a look here at what the difference is and why that didn't import properly. You'll see here that the text is all exploded, and that's the text that is correctly shown. Now this text here needs to be exploded as well. And we also want to capture these heights here. So let's just create a rectangle so that we remember where these heights are. And this height here. And maybe just this one here. So what we want to do now is we want to select all the text that needs to be exploded. And we can go to Express, Text, Explode Text. Some versions of AutoCAD will not have that function. If they don't, I'm sure there is another way around it, or otherwise you just have to manually go back and forward and look at the heights and then just update that in 3D Max. So now we will go and move the text back in place, and we just have to rescale it. So now I pressed SC for scale, and I'm just going to use this as a base point, and I'm going to select down here and zoom out and click there. I'm going to delete these reference squares and maybe just tweak this to move it slightly above the line. So what this tells me is the height of the 32nd floor. This tells me the height of the first floor for the hotel, and here I have the heights for the podiums. So that's going to make it much easier to make the model in 3D Max, because we'll be inputting these heights manually into the objects that we model in Max. So once we're done with that, we're going to press Save. And we're going to go back into Max, and then we're going to go to the References and File Link Manager, and we look at the files that are already linked in. Now here all we have to do is reload it. Here you can untick the Show Reload option, since we don't need to change layers or change scale, so we just press Reload. And if everything happened correctly, you should have those numbers in place. If you don't, then we just check again why we don't have them. Just going to have a look at where they have gone to. We'll just see if we didn't perhaps. This is probably a common thing, is that when we exploded these levels, we kept them on the layer 0 in AutoCAD, and that is exactly why they're not importing into Max. So here, just to double check, we go back to the, let's say, new elevation grid, so that it is on the same layer as this text here. We'll resave and go back into Max and redo that process. And you'll see this is a trial and error process, and it just goes to show how easy it is to go back and forward between AutoCAD and 3D Max and then update these details. The beauty of it is that all of this has already been rotated and in place, so I don't have to now re-import, re-rotate, realign. It all just comes into the correct location, even though I've added brand new data in the AutoCAD side of things. So that is a really fantastic tool that you will end up using all the time. Great, so that is it for this tiny fill-in tutorial. The next one will, for this time, really be the modeling part, and we can't wait to get started with that.